answer that one, that's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good, David? Big fan. Oh, thank you, Mitch.
I don't even know how to start this without saying how absolutely gut-wrenching this story is. The mother of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the 13-year-old whose body was discovered inside singer David's car, has finally broken her silence. And before we dive into all these shocking details, let's pause for a second. This isn't just a headline or some internet rumor. This is about a daughter, a child, a life stolen way too soon, and a family that's now living every parent's worst nightmare. The facts are chilling. On September 8th, police uncovered a body in advanced decomposition, stuffed inside a black bag, left in a Tesla abandoned up in the Hollywood Hills. That Tesla, registered to none other than 20-year-old David Anthony Burke, better known as David, the same young artist who skyrocketed to fame off his viral hit Romantic Homicide. At first, people refused to believe it. How could the kid who went from Fortnite clips to recording songs on his iPhone suddenly be tied to something this dark? But then the coroner confirmed what everyone feared. The body matched the description of a missing 13-year-old girl. And when the grieving mother came forward saying she believed it was her daughter Celeste, everything changed instantly. This was no longer whispers on social media or internet gossip. This turned into a full-blown criminal investigation with a devastated mother demanding the truth. And the worst part? Every single new detail coming out makes this entire situation even more disturbing.
She always quiet, nice. She come in like if she buy like a chips, soda, and leave. Sometimes she come with a friend from the neighborhood.
September 8th will forever be stamped as the day this story turned dark beyond belief. News broke that a badly decomposed body had been discovered inside a Tesla parked at an impound lot. And at first it sounded like one of those bizarre Hollywood mysteries. But when people heard the car was registered to David, the rising artist behind Romantic Homicide, everything flipped into a nightmare. The Tesla had been ditched in a Hollywood Hills neighborhood days earlier before being quietly towed away. Nobody reported it stolen. Nobody even tried to claim it. And that alone set off alarms. But what investigators uncovered inside the trunk took things to another level. Black bags holding human remains. The medical examiner revealed the body belonged to a young girl, around 5 feet tall, long, wavy black hair, wearing a tube top and leggings.
We now know who the victim is in this case, and there are a lot of twists.
And that's when the case got even eerier. The LAPD held back on releasing a name, but the internet was already piecing it together, linking it to missing person reports. Celeste Rivas Hernandez had vanished from Lake Elsinore back in April 2024, just 13 years old when she disappeared. And the description of the body lined up with her almost exactly, down to the jewelry she always wore. Her mother admitted she felt a sinking dread the moment those details hit the news. Picture that horror, hearing a generic description and realizing it could be your child. But the most chilling part? The tattoo. Celeste had inked on her index finger, the exact same tattoo David carried on his own finger. Celeste's mother dropped a bombshell when she revealed that her daughter had a boyfriend named David.
One of the things is, how does a person that's been missing since April 2024 be found today?
That one detail alone had people instantly tying her story to the singer. And when you add everything else stacked against him, it's almost impossible not to connect the dots. But she didn't just share the facts like a cold report. She poured her heart out as a mother who felt ignored and brushed off. She said it seemed like people around her daughter knew more than they ever admitted, and that the system failed to step in when it mattered most. According to her, there were signs Celeste was getting involved with someone older, and still, nothing was done to protect her. That accusation makes this case way heavier and way harder to dismiss as some wild coincidence. Here's what makes the story even crazier. Before all this, David wasn't seen as some reckless rapper or troublemaker. His image was the opposite. Quiet, artsy, almost harmless. People knew him as the kid who popped out of nowhere with that moody, viral track. That's why the first reaction online was pure denial. No way it's him. For those not familiar, David Burke wasn't even in the industry at first. He was literally just a Fortnite gamer. He even admitted he only started making music because he needed copyright-free tracks for his gameplay montages. Using just his iPhone and the BandLab app, he recorded in his sister's closet, raw and unpolished. And from that DIY grind came Romantic Homicide, the song that flipped his whole life upside down. If you've touched TikTok in the past 2 years, you've definitely heard it. In the back of my mind, you died. That track blew up in 2022, shooting David into instant stardom. One viral song, and suddenly he was signing with Interscope, opening for SZA, and even landing a Fortnite collab where his own gameplay doubled as the music video. That's why when news dropped that a body had been discovered in his Tesla, fans couldn't wrap their heads around it. This didn't match the David they thought they knew. He was seen as the quiet, introverted artist. No messy headlines, no constant drama, no late-night clubbing stories splashed across TMZ. His vibe was safe, almost family-friendly. But then came the part that shook everyone even harder. While police were combing through his abandoned car, David didn't lay low. He was actually on stage in Seattle performing like nothing happened. And people online noticed something even darker: his Sleep Well music video. Fans started pointing out that one of the girls featured looked eerily similar to Celeste. Same long hair, same overall vibe, and it wasn't just her presence. The whole scene felt drenched in this creepy funeral energy. This wasn't even new for David. His visuals had always leaned into death, darkness, and gore, almost like he was obsessed with turning tragedy into art. Some concert-goers even said he was tossing stuffed Love Boo dolls into the crowd that same night. And the internet couldn't believe it. How do you perform like nothing's wrong when your name is being tied to a homicide investigation? Sure, he canceled the shows afterward, but the damage was already done. And right after the victim was identified, LAPD homicide detectives made their next move. They raided a Hollywood home David had been living in. Though on paper, the lease wasn't in his name. It was listed under Josh Marshall, his own manager. Scroll back through David's socials and you'll see it plain as day: clips, selfies, and behind-the-scenes shots of him inside that very same house cops just raided. LAPD homicide detectives swarmed the property on Wednesday, leaving with a computer and multiple evidence bags in hand. Now, in any major case, that might sound routine, but here's where it gets suspicious. That house? It sits just steps away from the exact alley where David's Tesla was abandoned. Literally a short walk. So when investigators are hauling evidence out of the same neighborhood where the car with a body was dumped, the optics are brutal. It screams connection, and it doesn't stop there. Reporters say detectives suspect the Tesla may have been deliberately driven through back alleys, almost like someone was dodging traffic cameras. If that's true, it shifts everything. This stops looking like some random tragic coincidence and starts looking like someone went out of their way to cover their tracks. For everyone still clinging to the idea this was just one big misunderstanding, that house search was the wake-up call. Watching homicide detectives march out with evidence bags? You can't pretend anymore. Something serious is happening behind the scenes. And while David kept touring like nothing was wrong, the music industry wasn't about to gamble its reputation. Brands cut ties almost overnight. Crocs and Hollister both yanked their ad campaigns with him, no hesitation. And honestly, that move alone told the public exactly how bad things were looking for him. When brands start bailing, that's the industry's way of saying, this is way too toxic to hide. And it wasn't just companies pulling out. Artists themselves began distancing fast. Collabs were quietly scrubbed from playlists, and Kali Uchis straight up admitted she was in the process of taking down their joint track. That's major. She's got her own loyal fan base, and clearly she wanted no trace of her name tied to something this disturbing. But here's where it gets really wild. Fans went digging through old concert clips, and what they uncovered looked straight out of a horror movie. David wasn't just giving off moody vibes, he was staging full-on funeral shows. Actual caskets on stage, whole sets dressed like death itself was the star of the night. Suddenly, what once felt artsy now feels downright haunting. And once the mainstream media caught on, the internet detectives went into overdrive. You already know how that goes. People pulled up screenshots, Discord logs, old Reddit threads, anything they could get their hands on. Some receipts looked convincing, others sketchy. But either way, it all piled onto the firestorm. One of the biggest finds came from his own Discord server. Screenshots allegedly showed him chatting with a girl named Celeste, who had been active there as early as 2021. Can we confirm those messages 100%? Not exactly, but here's the kicker. Multiple people saved the same receipts, reposted them, and swore they were legit. That makes it a lot harder to just dismiss them as fake. Then came an eerie Reddit post. Someone claimed their close friend's younger sister had run off with David and they were terrified. That rumor alone had people questioning just how many stories about him were being buried. She was the girl found in his car. At first, people brushed off that Reddit post as some random troll fishing for attention. But once the victim was identified, that so-called troll suddenly didn't seem so random anymore. And then it got even darker. Photos and clips began surfacing online, allegedly showing David with a girl who looked way too much like Celeste. Now, let's be real. Nobody can confirm what's legit and what's fake just yet. But the fact that so many people were connecting the dots from all angles shows just how deep this story was spiraling. That's the messy part. Police haven't verified any of this leaked content. Yet when there's this much smoke, it's almost impossible to believe there's no fire. But the detail that truly made jaws drop? For 3 years straight, David dropped new music on the exact same date as Celeste's birthday. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Fans went back, checked the timelines, and the pattern lined up way too perfectly to ignore. And if that wasn't already chilling enough, people started digging through his old TikTok reposts. And what did they find? Clips drenched in death, darkness, and funeral imagery. Put all of that together, and suddenly this isn't just about a body left in a car. It looks like a disturbing pattern that's been hiding in plain sight. Celeste's own brother, Matthew Rivas, even spoke to NBCLA. He said the family is still in shock, still grieving, but he confirmed they were aware of some of the connections people are now putting together. Celeste's brother revealed another heartbreaking detail. He knew David personally, and on the very night she vanished, she told her family she was heading out to see a movie with him, but she never came back. Hearing that straight from her own brother hit way harder than internet chatter. It made the whole thing feel less like wild speculation and more like cold, painful reality. If the family themselves are connecting her disappearance to him, then this isn't just theory anymore, or it's personal. And as much as we've unpacked tonight, the truth cuts deeper than all the headlines and drama. A young girl is gone, a family is shattered, and they deserve real answers. Not rumors, not theories, but the truth about what happened to Celeste. While the world debates screenshots and timelines, her loved ones are living through a nightmare that no family should ever face. Until the investigation uncovers exactly what went down, this shadow isn't just hanging over David's career, it's hanging over everyone watching this unfold. So let us know what you think in the comments, hit that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.